Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarvagurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Simha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? I am audible.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to start from here. So in the last lecture, there was a question. I don't know if who asked the question. I think he's not here. Okay. But anyway, I will answer the question. So the last question was regarding what does Śaṅkarācārya think about this Pratibodha Viditam verse? What is Advaita meaning of this? So that was the question. And it's interesting because this word Pratibodha means different things to different Acharyas. And even Śaṅkarācārya mentions, but the prior Acharyas like Bhartr-Prapancha and several other Kaṇāda or the Nyaya-Vaisheshika school, all of them think differently about the word Pratibodha. Obviously, the topic of Upāsanā, topic of cognition, topic of how mind perceives objects or mind perceives Brahman or a consciousness perceives Brahman. These are all very, very complicated topics. So many Acharyas will have different views and it is normal, natural. But people like us who study about it will get confused. So the thing is, no amount of study will help us also. Why? Only when you experience, you will know what the truth is. By just knowing this textually, you will not understand the truth at all. But we are just studying so that our mind or intelligence gets a little bit of food to eat. That's all. Okay, let me go and explain what Śaṅkarācārya said on Pratibodha Viditam verse. There's also a nice summary in a way, but it was for those who want to look at it again, you can go to lecture number 13 and lecture number 14. There I have explained this in much more detail. Today we will just summarize it. Any questions before we go to the Advaita meaning of this Pratibodha verse? Any questions? None? Hello, are you there?
No.
Okay, no questions. Okay. So the thing is, what this says here is, when Brahman is known through every state of consciousness, this is, I'm taking right out of the book of Nirguṇa, translation of Kena-Upaniṣad by Nirguṇa. I have shared this book with you a long time back. When Brahman is known through every state of consciousness, it is then rightly known. For by such knowledge, one attains immortality. Through one's own self, does real power come, and through self-knowledge comes immortality. The what do you call Ātmana vindate Vidam, Vidyaya vindate Amṛtam is the explanation of the second part of this sentence. The first part is Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amṛtatvam hi vindate. That is the first section here. So through every state of consciousness is what Pratibodha is understood to be. Let's look at a little bit more details of what Śaṅkarācārya is saying here. Pratibodha Viditam means perceived in every state of consciousness. The word Bodha refers to mental states. The self to which all the mental states become objects of knowledge is known through every one of those states. That means, as heat, for instance, is known through every heated object. The moment you see a heated object, now you know about heat, right? Like that, every cognition, every state of mental state tells me that, oh, there is some consciousness behind it. The witness of all mental operations, whose essence is mere sentiency or jnana, is implied by those operations themselves as being the common element of them all. So in every cognition, there's a common element that is sentiency, which is jnana. There is no other means of knowing the inner self, because inner self is never knowable. Why is this true? Can anyone tell me why the inner self is not knowable in Advaita?
It is not an object.
It's not an object. Okay. So all our mental states cannot even find that inner self. Hence, the meaning is that when Brahman is known as the innermost essence of mental perceptions, then that is matam, or the right knowledge. When once Brahman is admitted to be the witness of all the mental perceptions, it follows that it is of the nature of sentiency or jnana, without beginning or end. So it doesn't matter, we come and go, but Brahman exists. When we are born, we are given these operators of body, mind, intellect, and we operate and we know consciousness. But even if we are not there, Brahman still exists. And he is pure, identical with himself, oneself, devoid of distinctions, no attributes, and one in all beings, for there is no distinguishing feature between one such witness and another. So the thing is, he is one Ātman for everyone. As in the case of space, for instance, encompassed by a jar or a mountain cave, space is one, but all these are external objects. Thus, the teaching of the Vedic text that Brahman is different from the known as from the unknown, as well as unknown, is summarized here as referring to the unqualified higher Brahman, Nirguṇa Brahman. So the thing is, in another Upanishadic statement, it says the seer of the sight, hearer of the hearing, thinker of the thought, knower of the knowledge. All this refers to Brahman, who is internal. Ideally, he is not even the witness, but they're just saying he is the witness of all these thoughts. But really, he is unconnected. So he just goes into criticism of Bhartr-Prapancha. I'm not going to go into details of this. All it shows is in the Bhartr-Prapancha, I'm going to mention some aspects of it. Bhartr-Prapancha and Kaṇāda, the Nyaya, Rishi, they have different views. Bhartr-Prapancha says the consciousness itself undergoes change. Okay? So there is distinction between the two views. That is, Kaṇāda view and the Bhartr-Prapancha view is, according to the first view, that is Bhartr-Prapancha's view, knowledge is an act and self is what knows. According to the second, knowledge is a quality and inheres, like all qualities in the self, but requires for its manifestation the previous contact of self with mind. The Siddhānta view also makes a jñāna an act or a kriya, but it is only for vritti jñāna or ordinary vyāvahārika interactions, knowledge, or ordinary mental perception. Thus only the mind becomes changeable through the act of knowing, but not the self. So in Bhartr-Prapancha view, self itself changes by knowing. By knowing something, the self modifies itself. But on the in the Kaṇāda view, the Nyaya-Vaisheshika view, self is a knower, but does not get affected or changed. Like how a pot can be colored a blue pot or a green pot, right? But still, the pot does not change. Like that, in the Kaṇāda view, it is just an attribute. which changes, but the essence of that object does not change. So self does not change while knowing different things. It gets different coloring, that's all. So the Siddhānta or Advaita Siddhānta, what they say is, jnana is an act and kriya only in ordinary vyāvahārika perceptions, where the mind tries to know. Mind knows. Thus, only the mind becomes changeable through the act of knowing, but not the self. Ātman does not change. What constitutes the essence of the self? Swarupa jnana. Only the essence of that is knowledge only. It is neither an act nor a quality. It is eternal and subsists in itself. The soul or Ātman is not a knower, but knowledge. Not intelligent, but intelligence. So, Śaṅkarācārya takes everything for the Swarupa of the Ātman. The Swarupa is within itself, the form of that. How then does one attain immortality through such self-knowledge? This question is answered in the second half of the mantra. Ātmana, by one's own self, vindate, obtains viryam, strength or power. Power due to wealth, assistance, incantations, mantras, magic herbs, austerities and application cannot overcome death, for it is derived from transient things. The power of self-knowledge, on other hand, is got through one's own self and not through anything else. Thus, since the power of self-knowledge is derived from nothing extraneous, that power is able to conquer death because it is constant. Because the power of self-knowledge is got through oneself, it follows that by self-knowledge, vidyaya, immortality, Amṛtatvam, is attained. The condition laid down for achieving immortality is quite suitable because we find recorded in another Upanishad, that is Mundaka, the self is not to be reached by one devoid of strength. So, without strength, you cannot know the self, and the strength is obtained by Atma itself. So, this is simple meaning which Śaṅkarācārya gives. Hope this is understandable, right? It requires a lot of thought because each Acharya has given a different view of Pratibodha. Now, the next verse in Kena-Upaniṣad is Ihache davedi tatasatyam asti nache diha avedit mahati vinashtihi bhūteshu bhūteshu vichitya dhīraha pretya asmal lokat amrta bhavanti. So the thing is, what does it say? Realization must occur right here. Ihache davedit. Right here, if somebody knows, then there is some value. Failure to realize results right here is a great loss. It's interesting that, people ask for some value after death. Oh, here I don't want that value. You give me after death. That is a normal thing, right? So the thing is here, this is counter to that. In Kena-Upaniṣad, he says there is value only when you achieve Satya right here. If you know truth, if you know Brahman right here, that is the best thing. Nacheda avedita, if you don't know here, mahati vinashtihi, it is a disaster. Not a small one. A big disaster. Mahati vinashtihi. It is, see, losing a lot of money, losing all our savings is a big, real hit because it will affect our lives. You have to start earning again. Family will be very upset. But here, if you don't know Brahman, it is beyond all disasters. It is unimaginable disaster. You lose yourself. You lose purpose of life. There is nothing left for you. Bhūteshu bhūteshu vichitya dhīraha pretya asma lokad amrta bhavanti. The wise attain immortality after leaving this world. Pretya asma lokat amrta bhavanti, after giving up, leaving this body and going to a different state. What is the bhūteshu means? What does vichitya mean? Vichit, chit chayane means indicates careful discernment, understanding it properly, analytical perception, then or recognition of coordinated diversity applied to every personality bhuta. So in every bhuta, there is this Brahman. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha. Who are the dhiraha? Dhyaramate iti dhiraha. Intelligent one who perceive the coordination, concordance. Their insight is not abstract. It operates within living personalities. Such perception leads to enduring bliss. This is actually Upāsanā. Only people who have done the Upāsanā are dhiraha, because dhyaramate, that means with this intelligence they shine or they have enduring bliss. Bhuta as personality, Bhuta does not mean mere physical elements like Panchabhutas. It's not Panchabhuta. Bhuta refers to a personality, all our human being, all of us, right? So a composite body with the inner self, every Bhuta is a locus of divine immanence of Parabrahman. So Bhuta means us who have Parabrahman inside us. That is Bhuta. Okay, what do you want, Ramji? Hello, any questions?
You are audible, sir. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Actually, here Dhīra means we are taught as in our sampradaya that it is sadhuna chatushta sampanda adhikari. Like you said, viveka, vairagya, shama, dhamma, uparapti. This is what we are taught in our sampradaya. That is who is Dhīra actually.
Yeah, Dhīra is that is Advaita Sampradaya, right? Right? That is Advaita Sampradaya. Here, Sampradaya says Dhīra means who have done Upāsanā and who have realized Parabrahman right here. That is, and because they, what you call, Pretyasma lokad Amṛta bhavanti. So Dhīraha become Amṛtas, right? So there is a different approach here, that's all. And that doesn't mean that Advaita is wrong or something. Advaita is focusing on some other aspects. Here, the stress is about Dhīra is intelligence which is unperturbed, unclogged, powerful, which is made strong by meditation or Upāsanā. Bhuteshu bhuteshu means knowing in everybody that there is this Brahman all the time. And how does this Brahman exist everywhere? The principle of immanence is sapratigamantara taddesha vyāptimatvam. That means it pervades without obstruction, occupation without displacement. Divine presence does not negate or exclude anything. For example, physical pervasion means you throw a pebble in water. The water is displaced, an equal volume of water is displaced. Divine immanence is not like this. It can go in, it does not displace anything. It is like sugar or salt, dissolved in water. It's, even though here, even in sugar, salt, there is some displacement, but just comparison, that's all. Filling the pores without reducing volume. Nature of divine presence. God pervades beings inwardly, totally, non-competitively. So this presence is not spatial, it is not physical, it sustains everyone. So this is what you call yogic perceptions becomes, this is when Dhīra means Dhiya Ramate. Ramate means shine. When a person becomes Dhīra, he goes into the Turiyavastha or the fourth state where he can see everything. How there it becomes microscopic and telescopic. You can see far things and near things. And such vision penetrates inner divine presence. Right now, if we see a stone, we think that we saw a stone, but we don't see Parabrahman inside the stone. We don't even know Parabrahman is inside us. But if a person becomes a Dhīra and goes to Turiyavastha, in the fourth state, the person sees everything. The person sees the individual in us, the body, mind, intellect, Jivatma and Paramatma. And outside also he sees Paramatma everywhere, inside everything. So that is the vision there. Satya, what does Satya mean? Bhuteshu, bhuteshu, which is what do you call Ihache Davedit Ata Satyam Asti. What does Satya means? It is not just truth as we speak in speech. It includes right intention, goodness, sincerity of action. Truth is lived and realized. There is a real value for life if you understand Brahman right here. And the ethical dimension of Sat is Sat in the what do you call Sadbhave, Sadhubhave, Saditya Prayujyate is in 17th chapter 2 and 3, where Sadbhava, Sadhubhava, Prasada Karana means the truth manifests as constructive, sincere action. That's what truth means here. Outcome of realization is transcending the phenomenal world. Understand the divine presence of Brahman everywhere. Understand eternal happiness in the form of bliss. Amṛtatva follows realization. The immortality follows realization. So summary is, divine presence pervades every being. Diversity is real and meaningful. Liberation lies in the discerning immanence, harmony, and coordinated plurality. That's what that finishes the second Kaṇāda of Kena-Upaniṣad. So we have finished it faster today. I don't want to take up the third section of Kena-Upaniṣad today. If you have any questions, you can ask. Any questions? One suggestion is, if you have any doubts, you can go back to the prior lectures and listen to them. That will become, that makes things clear for you, because, you know, if you ask me suddenly, what did Shankara think of this? What did that think? When I go and check it, I may get a better view of it, but that day I would have spent a lot more time thinking about it very carefully. Then I would have done a slightly better job while thinking on that day. It all depends. Yeah. So as I have to reassert all the time, I'm not perfect. I understand some things. I'm trying to. We are all studying together. That's the whole idea here, right? Because the more and more I study Kena-Upaniṣad or even the Bhashyas, I see that how little I know, because so much of information is there, and sometimes we make mistakes in understanding them. So we constantly have to meditate on the meanings, contemplate, and try to get the best, the right knowledge. So repetitive hearing will help if you have doubts. No questions? If there are no questions, I'll stop the lecture here today. Any questions? Okay. Asmat Gurubhyo Mahatma Parama Gurubhyo Mahatma Sarva Gurubhyo Mahatma Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Maha Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Maha Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Maha Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. We'll continue next week. That is Saturday, Sunday, the coming Saturday, Sunday, hopefully. I will make announcements later. Thank you.
It will be evening 8 p.m. It will
Same
be
time.
8 evening only, no morning.
No morning.
That time.
This is the best time for me. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.